Good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Askeaton for this afternoon's Griffin's Coaches Limerick Intermediate Football Championship Final, a meeting of Mungret St. Paul's and Drom Broadford. A wet afternoon here in Askeaton, but the game does go ahead. Timmy Mungret, the match official, has inspected the pitch here, and he is happy that it is played. The prize, of course, is the intermediate title, but also a place in the senior ranks for 2024 for one of these two clubs. We'll take a look at the sides first. My own name is Tom Clancy. I'll be guiding you through this one over the next hour or so of action. We'll look at the Mungret team, and it shows one change that is from the one advertised in the programme, but the team in full sees Jake Foley in goals, Brian Tracy, Robert Haggerty and Liam Harrington the full back line, Frank Corcoran, Jack McCarthy, and in place of number 7 Oisin Moss comes number 17 Tom Lloyd. At midfield, Brian Barry and Dara O'Hagan. James Killian is flanking James Killian and Killian Ryan flank captain John Hutton. Brendan Gilton and Shane Barry and Darragh Bridgman are number 13, 14 and 15. Mungret looking to make a long awaited return to the senior ranks. We'll now take a look at the Drom Broadford side, and Drom of course relegated from senior after many successful years. That relegation came in 2020. Their side is going 1 to 15 as per programme, but we do expect potential for positional switches. Brian Stack is in goals, Graham Roach fullback and captain Sean O'Sullivan, Seamus Brosnan the fullback line, Garrett Noonan, Jack Ryan and Patrick Stack, Brian O'Callaghan and Killian Fahy at midfield, Micheál Brosnan, Damien Burke and Tommy Ryan at 10, 11 and 12. The exciting Jack Pearce and Kenny Lynch flank full forward Brian Ahern for this one, and we will keep you up to date with the positional switches as and when they happen. Good afternoon to you, Matt O'Callaghan. A very wet afternoon, the rain continuing to fall here. It will make for probably a very tight and a very tense afternoon, I suspect, here in Askeaton.
I think it probably will, Tom. On the way down, I was worrying about the wisdom of whether it would be on or not, because I encountered a number of floods, roadside floods, and I could see field flooding on the way down. But the pitch from here looks quite well now. I was speaking with Timmy Mungret over before I came over, and he's happy enough to let it go. But it's a pitch that could deteriorate very quickly, and as you said, it could become a bit of an arm wrestle as a result of it, and like we have two teams here, coming from, I suppose, different directions, if you like, in that we have Drom Broadford, who were here last year in the county final and who will be looking to get back up senior, and like dare I repeat it, it has been said so often, like the football club of the third millennium has been Drom Broadford, no question about it. 7 senior titles, 11 county final appearances, and they are itching. Talking to some of the connections over, they're really itching to pull this one off. But so are Mungret, because Mungret have a very vibrant underage set up, and they feel that it's very important that they get over the line in this one and get up to senior. Like, it's not too long ago, Tom, since they appeared in a county senior final in 2010. But Mungret, I described them during the week, and Kevin O'Hagan agreed with me. They have been nearly men in the last couple of years. They've lost 3 semi-finals. They've lost 2 quarter-finals. Now that they've got over the semi-final hump and reached the final, there'll be a certain amount of pressure off them. But look, it has all the ingredients of a very good game. A pity that the elements weren't, a little bit more favourable, more favourable and a bit kinder, but it's going to make, as I said, it could become a bit of an arm wrestle through no fault of the two teams.
Yeah, just to look at the management teams, Kevin O'Hagan, as Matt mentioned, is the Mungret St. Paul's manager, but he has coach selector Ian Parranahan and the selectors Owen Mal O'Hagan and Billy Madigan as well. Of course, Parranahan, Ballysteen man, so not too far for him from home here. The Drom Colour side is managed by Kevin McGill, and they have Liam McGrainer as their coach, Gary Noonian, Danny Corkery and Owen Barry, the team selectors. The referee for this one, as I mentioned already, is from Ula. That is Timmy Mungret, the man who took charge of the Limerick Senior Football Championship final 12 months ago. And we also have Mike Maloney from Caroline as one of the linesmen, and Mike Sexton the other. And there's 4 umpires from Ula, good friends and indeed family of Timmy Mungret. So a big day for those two
involved. I can tell you 2 of his umpires are his dad, who's there in front of us on camera now, Timmy Mungret and Bob Houston. I didn't meet the other 2 before I came over. So
4 Ulamen, I believe, anyway. Yeah.
Oh, he has 4. There are 4 Ulamen. There's 2 down at the other side, and the 2 are going down here now to our left. So Timmy McGrath, of course, a referee that has made huge progress over the last couple of years. As you say, took charge of the senior final last year, and you know, a very, very satisfactory referee. From the general consensus about him is that. So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can see there. Just off camera, sorry, Drom Broadford in for their team photo. We just to bring up to speed, Mungret are the team in blue this afternoon. You'll see that a change strip for them. Too much red, of course, on the red, black, and yellow for Drom Broadford. So Mungret into their change strip of blue, and they'll be hoping that that change means a change for them in terms of success at this grade. And Matt, just remind me, you spoke to me in Treaty Talk this week. Your prediction. I was leaning towards Mungret. I believe you're in that camp as well.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Mungret. Whether the conditions will, it will have a say in it, but how it will impact on the various teams, it's hard to see. But just, I don't like singling out players, but like one has to mention Garrett Noonan, the service that he has given. It's 15 years ago since Garrett was a member of the Drom Broadford team that won the Munster Clubs Championship when they beat Kilmurray-Bracan in the Gaelic rounds, and they had done it the hard way because previously they had beaten Nemo Rangers in the semi-final. Now I think we're about, Timmy McGrath seems to have everything in order, and I think we're ready to get going.
We are indeed. We're ready to go. Timmy is just about to set his watch here, and the 2023 Griffin Coaches Limerick Intermediate Championship the final is underway. Ball fired in and collected immediately by Brian O'Callaghan. And as I said, I walked the pitch earlier this afternoon, and I can tell you it is extremely soft underfoot conditions. So not a day for bouncing the ball, a day for accurate kick and indeed hand passing. And there's the first kick hand pass of the afternoon. Sorry, we'll just bring up to speed with the team changes. There's been a slight alteration to that Mungret team. We'll look at it in a minute, but it's Drom Broadford who are working it backwards here, back to the halfway line, and centre back Jack Ryan gets on it for the first time, and he gives it to Patrick Stack. Just a slight change. It's actually James Garvey wearing 21 for Mungret, who is in place of Oisin Mass. So Tom Lloyd resumes his place on the bench for now at least, and we'll see how that one develops. But it's number 21 James Garvey as Mungret come into possession, and here is the aforementioned Garvey, and his hand pass eventually finds its way back to him, and here's Brendan Giltonan. And Garvey gives it again, but I can see there the ball not bouncing for him at all, and he has to kick it out or hand pass it out. And as the effort comes in from midfielder Brian Barry. And Matt, you can already see the conditions are going to play a part here. Very difficult for teams, so it'll be whoever can master their skills under these conditions will probably come out on top.
I think I agree with you totally, Tom, because we saw the pass there that you would normally expect would bounce, and it actually stuck on the ground. So it's a question of who will master it best.
Absolutely, yeah. And first wide of the afternoon goes to Mungret, as you saw there, and Drom Broadford looking to launch their first notable attack. Hand pass back there by Micheál Brosnan, carrying it out. Here come Drom Broadford, and Damien Burke skips out of a challenge down beneath the dugouts there, and again players slipping and sliding all over the place. Back comes Killian Fahy, but can't gather it, and instead it's Killian Ryan, another member of the Limerick panel. Ryan does well, skips out of a challenge, ends up on the deck. Challenge in there, I think, from Seamus Brosnan, and indeed Fahy was making the covering run, and Drom Broadford got themselves in a bit of trouble there, Matt.
They did, and it was because of the conditions, because that ball was Seamus Brosnan's all day until he went to ground and slipped through no fault of his own, and Mungret went into the attack, and now we have a free for Mungret. In a normal circumstances, and I think their captain John Hutton is standing over it, in normal circumstances you would say it is scoreable, but on a day like today it's challenging.
Yeah, Hutton was the hero in the semi-final, or one of them anyway, in that victory over Rathkeil. They left it late after a bit of a Rathkeil revival, but Mungret got the better of it by 2 points, I believe, that afternoon. So here's Hutton. Not ideal for a right-footed free taker, but Hutton puts the spin on it. Hutton, where's it going? Oh, it breaks in around there, and it is Garrett Noonan who gathers it under his crossbar. Nice shape on the shot from Hutton, but not the trajectory that was required to fire it over. And here is Garvey, intercepts, and it's into Bridgman. And well, I can sense already we're going to have a low scoring contest here, given the nature of what we've seen in the first 3 minutes of action. But Micheál Brosnan back there.
We saw just another cameo there, Tom, of the impact of the conditions, with fellas slipping all over the place.
Yeah, Brosnan gets his jersey pulled by Giltonan, and Brosnan gives it to Noonan, and it's out here. The ball just not bouncing the way players would suspect. In a couple of weeks since they were in action in their semi-finals, And as we know, the weather has deteriorated around the country and indeed the county. Mungret have had the better of it so far this afternoon. Jack Pearce kicks it on to Kenny Lynch. Lynch, can he bend his back and pick it? He can. I think it just bobbled up for him nicely there. Lynch has to come back, and loads of traffic there. Ball knocked out of play. Mike Sexton awarded to the blue of Mungret. And first foray forward by Dromcolor Broadford, but again, just not able to gather it. And it's coming backwards here to Liam Harrington. And it was a different Harrington last week. That was the penalty shootout hero in the hurling final.
Very, very hard to judge the breeze here, Tom. But whatever breeze there is, would appear to be favouring Mungret. It's
minimal enough, I think.
It's
as well,
minimal enough in terms of impact, but it would seem to be blowing from left to right down here, and as we look down here from the stand here in Askeaton.
Yeah, as Mungret come up through full back, Robert Hegarty, and he puts a bit of wit in it and gives it to James Killian. Killian jinking one way or another. Killian off the right. What's he done with James Killian? No, it's not his best effort, and a second wide of the afternoon for the City Divisional Club.
Yeah, it'd be disappointing because it was a decent kick, but he just didn't get the radar in on that one. But it was a neat build-up considering the conditions, Tom, by Mungret St. Paul's.
Ball distributed out here by the goalkeeper Brian Stack, and Seamus Brosnan gets on it. And again, they're working it back there. Damien Burke, the positional switches plenty in this Drom team. Ball sent inside to Brosnan, and Brosnan knocks it out, and speculatively hopes that the linesman will give it to him, but clearly off the shins of Brosnan. And here's Giltanan, sends it inside. If a little bit more than that, it could have been a mark, but Giltanan is going to get it back, raiding through the middle. Brendan Giltanan over the block. Brendan Giltanan has opened the scoring in this final, and the man they call guilty, well, he was guilty of nothing there, but good play, Matt. A fine score from the corner forward, but he's playing a little bit deeper. Good play, and a nice little move involving, I think it was James Killian.
Derek Bridgman, actually, in the first instance, it was him, and he spotted the run of Brendan Giltanan, and Brendan Giltanan had a bit of work to do because it was considerable distance, but he put it over the bar with a bit to spare.
Yeah, first score of the afternoon, and back they come to goalkeeper. Again, it's Brian Stack, and again, it's knocked out across to cornerback Graham Roach. Yet to be a good, strong passage of play for Drom Broadford as Garrett Noonan carries it up, and Noonan gets on it here again, sends it across to Damien Burke. Intricate passing, has to be accurate on a day like this. Noonan kicks it up towards Jack Pearce. Pearce is being held by Brian Tracy, and it's going to be a free, and straight away Drom look to come take the free, but again Timmy Mungret rightly decides it has to come back. Long way from goal to have a goal, but it's that is exactly what their free taker is going to do. The man wearing 15, it's Kenny Lynch. What's he, Matt? He's 47 metres or so, maybe a little bit of it to the right as well. So
yeah, it would be an excellent kick in the conditions,
absolutely,
Tom.
Yeah. Lynch puts plenty on it, but it's tailing over to the left here. Almost finds its way to Brosnan, and it does eventually break to Brosnan. Lovely pick up from Brosnan, but he just snatches at the effort. And his first wide, and indeed the first wide for the men from the west. Yeah,
I think Michal will be disappointed with that because he's one of the more experienced players on the side, and it just felt nice for him, and he just didn't get it in where he wanted it to, but got his kick away on nevertheless.
Yeah, a huge crowd now surrounding us here in the stand in Askeaton. Always can make for a nice atmosphere here at this venue. One of the traditional venues of Limerick football, indeed, has hosted many county finals, particularly at this grade, down the years. And Mungret look to carry it up through the full back here, Robert Hegarty. And Hegarty sends it out to the wing, to the cornerback. And again, Mungret with a lot of players forward. Ball sent it to Frank Corcoran for his first notable involvement. For Corcoran, just out the back door to Giltanan. We saw what he can do with that point a minute ago, which still hasn't got up on the scoreboard here. But in the ground, that is, as Giltanan gets it back again. And Giltanan kicks it out to James Killian. Killian diagonally across the pitch here, breaks nicely there as Shane Barry is going to get there, and slipped once, if not twice, and just about kept his footwork as Harrington gives it back to Shane Barry. Barry, bit of a Gary Owen effort, is going to go in around there. Two Dromcolor Broadford men there. One of those is Brian Ahern, and Ahern is fouled as he kicks it away. And with 8 minutes gone, Mungret leading on the scoreboard, maybe leading in terms of possession and stuff like that, Matt, but Drom are going to find their feet soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Now, it wasn't high fielding by Brian Ahern back there, but by God did he make it his own, actually, because it was a dangerous ball. Now, I know the hop could go anywhere, but it's equally as dangerous if it hits the ground and goes nowhere. So here we have now Dromcollogher building from the back through Garrett Noonan.
Yeah, Garrett Noonan, a servant for Limerick in so long, and a former colleague of ours, Matt, I think that being Jerome O'Connell pointed out that he wore nearly every single jersey number, outfield jersey number for Limerick down the years. That'll tell you the versatility of him. But, we're back underway here. Ball knocked inside to Shane Barry, racing towards it. Goalkeeper Brian Stack stays on his line. Barry gathers it, jinks inside and just curls one over with the left. And the defence, let's see. Brian Barry comes in and coasts it over.
Yeah. And he it was a fantastic ball played through. Shane Barry got behind the defence, and it had gone a bit wide of the goal. So I think when he turned and kicked it with his left foot, it was the right option to take. 2 points to no score.
Yeah, we saw him lining out for Limerick in the very first game of this year in the Mungret Cup, victory over Waterford. He was trying to make the breakthrough on the panel, and alongside clubmate Killian Ryan. Could be more opportunities for that for him in the years to come. A fine footballer as he doubles the account. Here is another Limerick footballer, Killian Fahy. Killian got engaged during the week, so they'll be hoping for a double celebration as he spills it. Sliding in for the ball is midfielder Dara O'Hagan, and he protests his innocence, as is likely the story. And a chance now for Damien Burke to get Drom moving, but again they go backwards with the free, and this suits Mungret to funnel bodies back and pick up runners. But it's been a ponderous build up so far on the handful of occasions that Drom have had the possession of it, and Mungret not overly engaging until it gets into their own half. Ball carried up here now by Sean O'Sullivan, team captain, and spoke to Matt, of course, during the week about what it would mean to get this great club back to the senior ranks. And here is O'Sullivan again. It's to slip through a couple of challenges. Killian Fahy, and Fahy just has to carry it back. And Matt, very, very slow from Broadford. Well, I'll cut across you there as it comes worked out here to Shane Barry. Barry is going to want to get onto his left. It gives it into Giltinan. Giltinan sends it through towards Hutton. The ball is going to squirm away from him, and it's going to go to Brendan Stack. But again, Mungret just waiting for that mistake, waiting to pounce. And a little bit more accurate passing there, that would have been true for another score.
Absolutely, and it briefly for a while there, a goal chance looked to be on.
Yeah, the passing not too great. Here comes Killian Fahy. Finally, a bit of pace in the Dromcollogher Broadford attack, but he's swarmed by 3 blue jerseys. The flag goes up, and there's a roar from the Mungret bench. They like it. Ball switched across, but it breaks to Hutton, and Hutton has to come out of a few challenges. Garrett Noonan is going to have to come back to the referee for a quick word. But Matt, I was just before that spill, I was just saying that a bit too slow from Dromcollogher Broadford. I know it's heavy underfoot, but just too slow for my liking.
It is, and very, 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 very predictable for the most part, Tom, because if we saw that opportunity that was created, it was from the flick of Dara Bridgman, an unlikely flick that created an opportunity that could possibly have ended in a goal on another day,
Yeah, as here comes James Garvey. I mentioned county finals for Mungret, of course. They're playing Camogue in the Junior A, which is now the 4th tier. That I believe moved to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So Camogue Rovers currently fixed for Fenimore. That's their second team, so they'll be hoping for a double celebration this weekend, but they have to get the first half of that double here this afternoon.
It's actually moved now to Cappamore, Tom.
Oh, well, there you go. There's fixtures changing left, right and centre as the ball sent in towards Shane Barry. Barry off his left, doesn't get the curl. Looked like it was going to do that, but ends up going to the right and wide, third wide now and all for Mungret. But Cappamore sort of venue for Camogue Rovers versus
at 11 a.m. tomorrome.
11 a.m. in the morning. Nice. And
so we'll have an early morning in the morning, Tom.
That's it, yeah. Huge day for Camogue Rovers. I came through Mianis on my way here, and the flags are up, the bunting is up. They're looking for a first ever championship county title. So
of course, you have a vested interest in it now, and that is your adopted parish.
That's it. Just about clinging on to inside the parish bounds there as we eventually get a football here. But, of course, the 3rd tier final postponed. That was Newcastle West second team to face Fina Kilmeady, but postponed until I believe next Friday, so keep an eye out for that fixture. But disappointment all around it that we couldn't have all 4 finals like we had last week in the football played this weekend, but nevertheless we do have one here, and it's Brian Stack in possession. Again, Mungret happy to just sit off, and they have the lead. It's 2 points to the good. Drumcolor have to come up with some solutions, and that one is a risky one. Ball ends up in the deck as Kenny Lynch does so too. And now Mungret can come slipping and sliding. Ball skims across the surface. Tommy Ryan gets on it. His first involvement. He decides to put a bit of pace into it. Has to do well. He'd be wise now to kick it. He does. Kicks it inside, but it's going to beat them all, I think, to the sideline. That's good stuff there from Brian Tracy. And Tracy escorts the ball out over the line. And Tracy immediately fires it back to goalkeeper Jake Foley. And Matt Such is the talent pool in Mungret. They have Ronan McGilligan, a man that we've seen on underage teams in Limerick. We've seen him on a Sigerson team with UL, or a panel at least. He's only the second choice for Mungret. That'll tell you the depth of talent and resources they have there. Yeah,
that is something that I've been pointing out for the last couple of weeks. You know, when people are saying Mungret are in everything, they're in everything for a reason, Tom. You know, in the work, the amount of work that they're putting in there, and you know, and like they have successfully started doing the transitioning from underage to adult, which is terribly important.
Yeah, and it's something that they maybe struggled is probably a harsh word to use, but they had just hadn't got it in both hurling and football. But we've already seen them promoted in 2 hurling competitions, and I mentioned trying to do so in 2 football ones this weekend. Here's the fullback Hegarty. Back to Giltanan. Opened the scoring, you'll recall, to Giltanan, and great servant in both codes down the year is Giltanan, and it's with Jack McCarthy. Jinks in and out of a few challenges. Nice solo from McCarthy, but his hand pass is easy stuff for Killian Fahy. Garrett Noonan gets it, and Noonan back again. He's going to take some accurate stuff to work it out from here, and ball comes back to Brian O'Callaghan. And only 1 Drumcolor, well 2 now Drumcolor players in the Mungret half, so it's going to have to be precise to work it up through the channels, and they've broken a bit of the line as Noonan gets on it again. And again it's O'Callaghan surveying his options here now, and it comes out to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan gives it to Tommy Ryan, and Ryan takes on the other Ryan. That's Killian Ryan. 2 number 12s both with Ryan, and it's Killian who comes up with the turnover there, and kicks it inside to centre half back Jack McCarthy. In fact, it's wing back Frank Corcoran. Again, Matt, Drumcolor not really looking like penetrating this Mungret defence. No. And as you rightly pointed out, there are 2 players in the Mungret half, because they have been really pinned back. There's a great ball through. Darragh Bridgman, it's going to skim away from him. Can he control it? He can. Tries to nutmeg his opponent. Thought he'd be boys there now to bend his back and maybe draw the foul, but Bridgman, a member of Limerick under 17 and indeed under 20 panels in recent seasons, just made the wrong decision at the wrong time there as Jack Pearce gets on it. Pearce, very talented operator. Pearce off the left sends it across to a man in a bit of space, but the bounce goes against Brian Ahern, and Mungret, because of the lack of bodies, can just easily knock it back to Foley in the goal, and Foley knocks it over a couple of Drum players, and they look to counter. Of course, we'll have the stream of the senior final tomorrow, Newcastle West versus Adair, 2 p.m. in the 2 Scala Crowns. The three-peat is on for Newcastle West, 3 in a row finals between those 2 sides, and Seamus Brosnan gets on it and gives it to Noonan. A lot of possession so far for Noonan, but the men in front of him leading the attack just haven't clicked into gear yet. Ball sent down towards Pearce, and Jack Pearce uses considerable pace to get on it. Pearce gives it to a runner. That's Micheál Brosnan. Brosnan jinks in and out of a couple of challenges. Back to Pearce. Where is he going to go? It's going to go to the right, and the second wide now. 1 for Pearce to follow the earlier effort from Brosnan. Yeah, it's disappointing on a rare attack there, and it was a bit of a promising build-up. It was one of the few times that they have encroached into the Mungret half, but it would appear to me that Garrett Noonan is playing in a sweeper role, because he's got on an amount of ball, absolutely fantastic. And you remember the ball he caught right under the crossbar, like he's playing a huge role back there. Yeah, he just needs a few more to maybe come up a gear or 2, I think. They're definitely not out of this one. I'm not ruling them out, but they just haven't found the spark that could ignite them in this Griffin Coaches Limerick Intermediate Championship final.
Yeah.
Mungret happy to come away with it. You have a couple of groans from Dromcolor faithful who haven't seen their team press up. Ball comes to Barry and he gives it across to James Killian. Killian does well to carry it. Is he looking at the post? Killian does. There's a foul there by Brian O'Callaghan. You just cannot tackle from behind, and if you do, you're going to have to get all the ball and none of the man. And I think he got a bit of both there.
Yeah, I think there's very, very little doubt about it. Although one or two of them Broadford are protesting, he's actually giving a yellow card.
Right. Well, he wasn't happy with the foul. I suppose it did stop someone having a shot at goals illegally. So I guess you can see the logic in it.
And we're glad to say that our scoreboard is back in operation over. Not that it's going to be overtaxed at the rate it's going, because we're into the second quarter of the game and it has only been used twice since. Yeah, might be a third time now with John Hutton.
Yes, indeed it will be. John Hutton takes this one out of the hands sensibly. Realised the difficulty off the deck. Hutton out of the hands. 3 for Mungret. 3 different scores. And with just approaching the 20-minute mark, they are now 3 to the good.
Yeah, 3 to the good, and I don't think anybody could argue at this stage, Tom, that they deserve to be that 3 in front, because like they have had the better of things and they have enjoyed a certain level of mastery, you know, but haven't quite converted it. And Drom are finding it very, very hard to get out of their own territory. Now there's something trying to build up here now through Damien Burke. Yeah,
here we go. Brosnan gives it back to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan kicks it across, but there's going to be cover there through Brian Barry. 2-on-1 for Mungret, and the fullback Hegarty bends his back and does well, and he gives it to Brian Barry. And again, because Dromcolor are not squeezing up, they're allowing Mungret the ease to just work the ball up the field and get players in it, get players comfortable with the ball. It's a tricky day, and they're mastering the skills so far, but they're being allowed at times to do it.
Absolutely, and that ball was geared for actually Brian Ahern, who raced onto it, but Robert Hegarty read it to perfection.
Yeah, Hegarty kicks it up here, bounces well, and Bridgman does well this time to gather possession. Tightly marked by Seamus Brosnan, and Brosnan does well, knocks it into Jack Pearce. Pearce does well and gives it across to Brian Ahern. Oh, lovely little pirouette from Ahern. Ahern, is he going to open their account here? And Ahern, the umpires like it. Ahern likes it. And Dromcolor Broadford, you can hear there the support that's here from the west this afternoon. They're on the board now, and a nice score from Brian Ahern.
A very, very good score there from Brian Ahern, and they worked it up the field. Now we might see him get a little bit more adventurous and try and get out of their own half.
Yeah, they
still don't press up on the kick out.
Do that as Mungret come out with it with ease, as Liam Harrington has it here on this near side. Kicks over the few Dromcolor forwards, well taken at the by the wing back James Garvey. Gives it to Hutton, and Hutton to Ryan. They have an impressive looking forward unit, I think it's fair to say, Mungret. As here's Giltanan, little dink inside to Barry. Giltanan's going to get it. Giltanan gives it inside to Brian Barry. What's he going to do? He tried to bounce it. It breaks inside there. Oh, and I think Barry will rue that attempt to bounce it. It might have just taken a pot shot to fire over the bar, but the ball just didn't even come out. It went straight into a hole.
Straight in. It was neat build-up play by Mungret, and probably deserved the score. But when Brian Barry went to hop the ball, it stayed put.
Yeah, I think Coach Pa Ranahan, a friend of ours through the media at times, I'm sure he was happy with the build-up, but the finishing opportunity didn't arise, as Killian Fahy, now Drom have a bit of impetus and have a bit of presence in this game, as Damien Burke switches play over to that far side and carried up now through Seamus Brosnan. Had a telling contribution in that opening score. He won the ball back. He's still involved in the attack, and there's a chance here for a second attempt. It's Micheál Brosnan, and Brosnan's effort misses the net entirely. It's not his finest effort. 2 wides for him, and but a bit more purpose now for Drom.
A bit more purpose in Drom, and they're encroaching into the opposition half. And on that occasion, Micheál Brosnan was under severe pressure to get his kick in, but he got it away. But sadly for him, it was the only option. There weren't options around him.
No one on the shoulder, and it was a shot under pressure, I think it's fair to say. And again, Mungret come into the opposition half. at ease as Frank Corcoran is going to have to bend his back. He takes on the opposite number 5. Noonan, lovely ball inside. Shane Barry fighting with the ball really as much as anything, and tidied up by Mungret. And here's Corcoran again, and Hutton. And I think Mungret will be wise now just to put the brakes on this attack and maybe recycle it. Hutton does exactly that, gives it to Garvey, and he gives it across to Jack McCarthy. Hegarty has not had to do too much of the traditional stuff as a fullback, and I'm sure he'll be happy enough so far to be more involved in possession than defending. And now Drom have everyone inside their own half as they look to see what Mungret are made of in terms of intricate passing, and you can see the pitch deteriorating as this contest goes on. Dara Bridgman gets it. Bridgman tries to kick it over everyone, but that's the difficulty when there's so many bodies back. It has to be so accurate, and it isn't, because
really had no options there, Tom, because there's so many Drom Broadford players have funneled back that there was simply nobody available. And Drom looking to counter attack with some bit of gusto as Noonan gets on it again. Matt mentioned him as the sweeper, and he's dictating things using his experience. And the chance now as Sean O'Sullivan gets on it, gives it to Brian O'Callaghan, and here is Noonan. You can see there he was eager not to let the ball bounce more than once, or very unlikely that it would even do that this afternoon, but gathers it anyway. Here is Brosnan up the right wing. He's been busy, one of the busier forwards so far. Gives it inside towards Ahern. It's like a bar of soap there for both sides, and it's Mungret again who come up with it. Killian Ryan will carry it forward. Ryan often used as a sub for Limerick this season, just gone in the forwards as well, and he has to come back to Hutton. Again, Hutton, no real pressure on him, and kicks it inside towards Barry. That's Shane Barry, and good defending by Seamus Brosnan. And Garrett Noonan is there to pick up the pieces. Huge crowd, Matt. We heard the roar there from the Drom support when they got that score. They do love their football back west, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely, you know, and they have very good reason to follow this club.
Yeah, they might have another reason here now to roar as Damien Burke gets it, gives it around to Ahern. Ahern off the left. Ahern, there's a little block on it. Keeper was going to want to keep it in, and he just runs out of road, does goalkeeper Jake Foley. He protests that he kept it in, and it's going to be a 45. Ahern's looked busy, Matt. He got the score obviously a few minutes ago. Little bit of a block on that shot there. Not sure it was heading exactly for the post, but he's a good player to come around in the loop and create an opening.
Absolutely, and obviously Jake Foley spotted that touch had been on it, and he tried to
rescue the situation.
But the umpire was right beside him there. So we have Kenny Lynch coming up to this one now. So 45, it's as near as in front of the goal as you can get.
That's it, just a couple of metres off the left post. Lynch gets that one. It's dangerously inside there. It's pulled out from underneath the crossbar by Frank Corcoran. Well, he had to do a couple of bit manoeuvre there to get there. Incidental contact, says Timmy Lynch. There's a foul eventually on Corcoran, but what about that? Pulled it out from underneath the crossbar. It was a good effort from Kenny Lynch. Given the heavy conditions, it's not difficult even in terms of striking. The ball is that bit heavier this time of year. But it took a bit of stopping because it could have nested into that net.
Very, 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 very easily, because like the ball must be like a bar of soap at this stage. But Mungret St. Paul certainly made it their own. But like from Broadford to get back into it, they really have to press up there. They allow the free now to be taken, funnel it back to the goalkeeper, and start building
4, 5, 6 passes
there.
from Mungret with no pressure on any of them. Yeah. Although to add to that as well, Matt, you'd feel that, well, we'll just see what happens here. Brosnan misses it, goes to, I think it's Corcoran, and he gives it across to Hegarty, who just made a burst a minute ago. Gives it to Giltonan. Giltonan holds off his man. Did he throw that up and then flick it? Ball comes to Shane Barry. Barry gives it across to Bridgman. The busy Bridgman, and it's now with Corcoran. Bridgman, and he slips. And there's a little bit of a tug on the jersey of Bridgman there. But Matt, given the conditions are so bad, you'd feel if a team pushed up, there will be mistakes aplenty in that Mungret rearguard. And
Absolutely. But they have the sanctuary of being able to pass it around unopposed, and like as you said, they're getting in 3, 4, 5 passes, and deciding and waiting till someone spots the run. Now this is a longer one for John Hutton. It's in front of the goal. It would be a good score if he gets it.
Yeah, Hutton 42 or 3 metres out. Hutton goes for it. Oh, he nails it. There was little doubt from when it left his right boot. And with just about 90 seconds or so left of the normal time, John Hutton has nailed his second free.
Absolutely, an excellent score by John Hutton, and it was one of those times where Mungret St. Paul's had a couple of players loose, but they were all together about 45 metres out from the goal. I suppose from Broadford thought that they were a safe distance. Now they have a free again. This one is closer, and it's to the left of the goal, and I think John Hutton will probably fancy this one as well.
Yeah, ball played in the ground, I think, by a defender, and Hutton wastes no time in going over to gather the O'Neill size 5, and Hutton looking at those posts. What can he do from here? Hutton looking for his third and to open up the biggest lead of the match, and Hutton has done it. Just like that.
Two very important points coming up to half time, Tom. It will certainly change the half time team talk somewhat. Maybe I'm talking a bit premature. There'll be a minute or two, I presume, of additional time. But like I suppose it's fair to say, Tom, that the scoreboard now more reflects what we have been seeing out on the pitch than it did heretofore.
Yeah, Drumcolor need something maybe just before the interval. Brosnan gets it, sends it off. I'm not sure they'll know exactly what's on the referee's clock, but they'll be wise now to get a bit of speed into this attack. Here is O'Sullivan, carries it up the middle. O'Sullivan solos, then slips, and then back it comes to Fahy. Hasn't had the influence that maybe we thought he'd have just yet. Sends it inside though, does Fahy, into Ahern. Here is Brian Ahern, takes on his man. Ahern off the left, that looks good. No, it's not. It's across the face of goal. I just thought it had done enough from Brian Ahern.
It just tailed at the very end. We had a bird's eye view from behind it here, and it looked as if it was on target, but it just at the very, very last second tailed, and I think the umpire thought it was going over for a while.
Yeah, as did I. And don't anyone say that I should have gone to Specstars. I've been and gone, and they haven't done me any favours. As Mungret again can just get it outside their 45 at ease, and Darrow O'Hagan, the midfielder, gets on it. There is the half-time whistle from Timmy McGrath. Mungret 4 to the good, 5 points to 1. Matt, Mungret will be happy with that, but the game by no means over.
No, the game is by no means over, but like Drumcolor Broadford will just have to become that little bit more adventurous. Like interestingly, Tom, it would look as if Drumcolor are sharing the wides total 4-3. So they have made incursions. Their accuracy has left them down somewhat, but they need to be more adventurous. Press up on the kick out, press up on those close in frees that Mungret are getting, and are allowed the freedom to move it back to the goalkeeper and across the full back line and all that sort of thing. As you referenced earlier, they can do it with impunity for the simple reason that there is nobody there to force them to make a mistake or anything like that. But the scoreboard is absolutely correct in terms of the first half that we saw, the level of mastery that Mungret enjoyed during that period. So look, it's all to play for. Now the wind appears to be getting somewhat stronger, and it will be favouring Drom Broadford in the second half, and we can see it down here pitch side that the flags are it's much stronger, but it's all to play for.
Well, we're going to take a bit of a break here in Skeeton. Don't go too far away. We'll have the second half up for you very shortly. Good afternoon, and you're very welcome back to Askeaton. The Griffin Coaches Limerick Intermediate Football Championship final is at half-time. 5 points to 1, as you can see there on the screen, in favour of the men in blue this afternoon. That is Mungret St. Paul's. A lot of work for Drom to do after a disappointing opening half. In comes James Mullow, as you can see there, wearing 21. We'll confirm if indeed he is the only half-time change for the men from the west. Mungret yet to emerge from their dressing room, but Matt, this game, in its own way, has a danger of getting away from Drom Broadford if they don't get their act together maybe in the next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, like in the next 10 minutes, Tom, they have to make inroads into the lead. All right, it's only 4 points, but it's one of those days when, you know, every point is so valuable, and like, you know, they really will have to come out in the second half and completely change tack and press forward on Mungret. Like the type of liberty that Mungret got in the first half, like, it just shouldn't be available to him in the second half. And as you said, I'm trying to figure out there who James Mullow. I'm just wondering, is Brian O'Callaghan on the field?
No, it's just such sign of Brian yet, but we will confirm when we know that 100%. Unfortunately, we know electronic board here for this county final.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about James. He was Limerick minor and 20 in the past, and I think he was probably involved in maybe a training group that were, you know, the Limerick seniors were looking at last season. A powerful player on his day. Yeah. He's had his troubles with injuries on and off, and it has dogged his progression. But on his day, he is capable of really driving Drom here.
He is. He's actually, and he's. I'm just after spotting now, Tom. He's one of 2 subs. It looks to me as if Brian Noonan is on the field. Of course, a very experienced.
17,
a very experienced player. We'll just have to try and figure out who's going off. I'm just wondering. I'm looking around there to see if Tommy Ryan is on the field. Is he? Tommy Ryan and Brian O'Callaghan.
I think you might be correct in that, Matt.
I'm not picking up either of those two at the moment.
Like the number 12.
No.
Number 8 and 12, it looks like, have made their way off. But again, if we call those players out in a second, you'll know that they're still on. But that looks to be the changes. So they'll be hoping that double trouble for Mungret with those 2 fresh faces.
Yeah, we would just take it.
In fact, it's Patrick Stack and Brian O'Callaghan, number 7 and 8, who have made their way out, as Tommy Ryan has gone back to left wing back, as we do get on with it here. And Garrett Noonan wins the free. So as we say, the subs see Brian Noonan and James Mullow in place of Patrick Stack and Brian O'Callaghan. They'll hope that those players have an impact. We need a new O'Neill's, because that one has gone a little bit flat.
So it's an early
involvement now for
Brian Noonan.
Noonan, left-footed, just fires it across the pitch. He's going to get it here again. And you can see how difficult it is for the players to navigate the central part of that pitch. It has really held the water from what has been a really poor couple of weeks weather all around the county, as Noonan gets on it, and Mungret, or in fact Drom get on with it now. The pattern has flipped so far, at least in that Mungret are sitting off and allowing Drom get it up to this halfway down. Mungret may be trying to play a little bit on the break. No changes for them at the interval. They were happy with that 30 minutes or so of work that has them 4 to the good. Back to Damien Burke, and here is the number 12, Tommy Ryan, playing a little bit deeper than the number would suggest. Sends it inside. There's a little jersey pull there, and it's going to be inside the 45, I think. Very important, in fact, with these conditions, that Timmy McGrath marks it correctly. And
that's from a position similar to where John Hutton landed his last point, maybe a few yards further out, but it seems to be the same angle and distance.
Yeah, it's Kenny Lynch, steals a couple of metres. That's going to be short door from Lynch. Dangerous one inside. Breaks in around there. Oh, good defending again from Frank Corcoran. He's been alive to those dropping frees from Kenny Lynch, and has mapped a couple of them up. There's a late foul there by an attacker from Drom, and it's going to be a free from Mungret, because not that silly, because he kicked that out into the car park.
That's totally needless and senseless, totally needless and senseless. Give away free like that. Mungret were penned into their own half. Here they're now attacking down here to our left, the Dromcolor half.
Yeah, and here's Brian Barry. Sends it in towards Shane, and Shane slips as he went to gather it. And here's Graham Roach wearing 2, and out they come. Feel the next score may dictate what we're going to see for the next half an hour, and if it is for the men in black and red, it could ignite their challenges. Here's Brosnan, Michal Brosnan that is. Steps inside, always has that lovely feint. Very accomplished soccer player as well. Sends it inside to Jack Pearce. Jack Pearce gets on it. Pearce away from a challenge. Pearce off the left, curls it wonderfully. And Jack Pearce, there's a fist bump inside from Brian Ahern. Jack Pearce has cut the gap back to 3. Lovely score.
A beautiful score, absolutely. Where the Mungret defence, they went AWOL and allowed him acres of space in which he raced into and neatly delivered it over the bar.
Mungret preparing their first sub of the afternoon. Dermot Hines looks to be readying himself beneath us, so we'll see who he replaces momentarily. And again, Dromcolor sit off as James Muldoon now goes in search of it, but easily evaded to Mungret as James Garvey switches it across to Brian Tracy. Tracy gives it in to James Killian. Sends it across and out to this near side again. Brian Tracy is an option, but Brian Barry encouraged to carry it. A little bit of a loose solo, but he's going to tidy it up. Brosnan was in there with him. Sends it across the midfield partner, O'Hagan. 2 big powerful men at the centre of the field. O'Hagan off the right. What's he do with that? That's going to just come to this near side and wide, and a 4 wide and all now for Mungret. They were 4-3 behind on that tally, but they're now level. So Mungret making 2 subs. Number 18 and number 7 are coming in, namely Dermot Hines wearing 18, Oisin Moss wearing 7, and we're just going to see who's going to come out. Dara Bridgman is 1,
and Brian Tracy is the other,
and Brian Tracy wearing 2 is the other. So number 18 and number 7 in for number 15 and 2. Oisin Moss listed to start, but not included in the first 15. In he comes, as I said, alongside Dermot Hines. So Mungret looking for fresh legs at this point. I think those 2 players did have an impact on the contest, but it is a county final day. There's opportunities aplenty with the bench to change it, and very, very heavy underfoot conditions. So 40 minutes, or not even that, what are we looking at? 33 or 4 minutes might seem like an awful lot more given the conditions here. Garrett Noonan kicks it in towards Brosnan. It's missed by 1 if not 2 players, and it finds its way to Frank Corcoran. Sent outside here to Hines. Hines just about escapes through a challenge. Another one of these young starlets on the Mungret panel, and he gets it again. 5.5 minutes into the half. The gap cut by 1 single point at this juncture. Now, this looks a bit familiar. Dromcolor sitting off. Mungret looking to break. Oisin Moss, really pacey youngster. Moss goes through a couple of challenges. And back they come now again. And there's Hines involved. That's one of the Barrys. Kicks it back across. It's a bit of a hospital pass, and it's with Darragh O'Hagan. Saw him kick a wide a minute ago. Linking well again with Brian Barry. This is out to Killian, James Killian that is, into Barry, interlock of passes. Chance now for James Garvey. Garvey, didn't do what he wanted there with that one, and it ended up with Dromcolor Broadford. They have a free out now as well.
Lovely build-up play there by Mungret, and controlled build-up play, and again Dromcolor Broadford sitting off. Hardly a Dromcolor Broadford player in the Mungret half, but not the finish that they would have desired, nor indeed the finish that it certainly deserved.
Yeah, 50-50 ball there. Into the back goes Graham Roach, and it's a foul on Killian Ryan. There's going to be another sub here for Mungret. Well, in fairness to the management, they're not shy in changing things. In now comes number 17, Tom Lloyd. Lloyd just making his way in beneath us, and we'll see who's
coming off. Somebody over on the far side of the field, it would appear, that's coming across the field. Yeah, it is indeed. Just trying to see who it is at the minute.
It looks to be Killian Ryan. who's making way off. That's a bit of a surprise to me, Matt, but maybe his fitness wasn't where it would desire for a 60-minute performance, but he looks to be accepting that decision, so maybe he knew there wasn't the full 60 in the clock. So Ryan comes off and
would be one of their most experienced players. Frank Corcoran there, I think, was fouled. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Jake Hegarty takes the free, and Mungret are building from the back through Darrow O'Hagan.
That's it. They will like the pattern, Matt, at the start of this second half. There's no doubt about it. So even though they haven't built on that lead, in fact, they've lost ground, but they will like that they're now dictating proceedings in terms of possession. Oisin Moss kicks it across to this side. Well, he looked to go. In fact, that was Tom Lloyd with the pass, and it comes now to James Garvey. Garvey gives it to Brian Barry, and Barry sends it over the middle and over the bar.
An excellent score, Tom. A fantastic score, and you can see the patient build up, working it through the hands. And it was number 21, I think, that laid it on there.
James Garvey with the final pass, and a nice finish from midfielder Brian Barry. He has got on loads of possession this afternoon, and plenty of it as well since the interval. Ball up there, breaks nicely by Mungret, by Darrow O'Hagan. And they come back now to James Killian. Mungret looking to kill this contest off. Another couple of scores, and you'd feel it will take a monumental Dromcollogher Broadford fight back, but they're not giving it up easy. Ball is touched on the floor, and there is groans from the parish of Mungret St. Paul's. They've lost it there, and the chance now. In goes a challenge from O'Hagan, and O'Hagan, a really powerful unit, and used it illegally to that. Mungret now filtering the bodies back, but Dromcollogher through Killian Fahy looking to change things. Of course, beaten, as we said already, in last year's final by Napiershik. They won't want that disappointing record of back-to-back final losses. Ball sent inside now here for James Killian. It opens up for Killian. What's he going to do? Takes it 1, 2, 3 solos. Killian on to the right. Killian goes for goal. Oh, yes! James Killian! Brian Stack got a hand to it, but it was not enough to stop him. James Killian into the top corner. What a finish, Matt.
Fantastic, but what a pass, I think, was it from Frank Corcoran in the first place that spotted the run of James Killian out here on the left. Frank Corcoran had it, and he put a diagonal ball right across straight into the path of James Killian. And look, there wasn't a doubt on it from the time he got it as to what the end result would be. Meanwhile, Dromcollogher Broadford are introducing a sub. Kevin Noonan is coming on. It means that the Noonan twins are now on the field, Kevin and Brian, and we're just trying to see here who is coming off. A player coming off here is coming off here in front of us.
Number 11, I believe.
And it looks as if it is Damien Burke.
Yeah, Damien Burke has made his way into the dugout, so Burke is out, and as Matt said, wearing number 20, Kevin Noonan goes in. They're going to need something major, because what about that goal from James Killian? I think many here from Mungret would have been delighted if he just flipped it over the bar, but he rifled it into the top corner.
Yeah, it was obvious from his run that there was only just one thing on his mind, and in fairness, Brian Stack didn't have a chance.
Yeah, looks like number 12 here for Dromcollogher Broadford, Tommy Ryan, is going to go off. I think there was a suggestion of a blood sub, but no, and he's looks like he's coming off entirely. In fact, Garrett Noonan is also coming off, so double change there now. So in place of Tommy Ryan is gone off, Garrett Noonan has gone off, number 18 has come in, number 19 has come in. So Michael Ryan and Sean Brosnan in for Noonan.
It's actually a triple substitution, so absolutely thrown everything at it now, thrown the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah, absolutely, they're going to need something humongous to feel now. 7 points behind all of a sudden, and Mungret coming with more. Giltanan sends it inside to Barry. Barry off the turn, puts plenty of loft on it. That's going to go straight over the bar though. Another score from Brian Barry, and Mungret St. Paul's are tightening their grip on this Limerick Intermediate Championship title.
Yeah, absolutely. Their tails are really up now, Tom, and it's 172 points. It's a huge road back for Dromcollogher, and from what we've seen in the first 40 minutes, you just wonder, where are they going to find the spark? Where are they going to find the inspiration to turn this around?
And there's a mark and then a foul and then a bit of afters and stuff. Brian Noonan gets on with it. Mungret just stifling anything and everything that is coming out the other way. Shane Barry gets on it, puts the brakes on. Shane Barry off the left, or is that going to go? It's going to go into the gloves of Brian Stack. And Mungret in Dromcollogher desperate need to get up to our right hand side and up to the top of the field here in Askeaton. Pride is also a factor. While they won't give up the chance of winning this one, Pride as much as I need. There's a foul there on Michal Brosnan, and what the foul does is it allows Mungret to funnel 3, 4, 5 extra players back and just stifles anything that Broadford were thinking of doing quickly. Graham Roach has to come back to Brosnan. Seamus Brosnan gives it into Michal, and Michal looking up and trying to find an option. And there's one off the shoulder. That's Sean Brosnan, his brother. Brosnan arrows it inside. It's a contestable ball, not exactly what Drom are looking for at this point. And there's a challenge in there. It's an illegal one. And
difficult ball, well defended, well spotted by Jack McCarthy to go and pick up the break there and make it safe. And he was fouled, of course, and it's a free out. And Robert Hegarty, I think, is looking for somebody to make a run. I think is it Frank Corcoran is making a run to his left.
A yellow card for James Mulner for, I think, both the challenge and then maybe a couple of verbals afterwards, as ball is carried out by Hegarty. And they can do what they like with it now, Mungret, they feel. Jake Foley gives it out here. It's surely about time that Broadford pushed everything up the field, and then I can see one of their coaches saying that beneath us, we have to push up because Mungret will, well, I know they're not going to run the clock down this early, but they will just play the game at their own pace and their own terms, and they come out of the half as ball in the gloves of Tom Lloyd. It's most certainly a day for gloves. Lloyd penetrating. Oh, it's a great ball. Just spilled there by Barry, and there's two men in the black and red and gold of Broadford, so they can defend it. But a goal and two conceded in quick succession, including that stunning James Killian goal, has really left them with the biggest of mountains, you'd feel, for their season. These sides met in the group, 8 points in it on that occasion in favour of Mungret, and we're now at that margin with a quarter of the game or so to go. Ball sent down towards Brian Ahern, one of two men to get their name on the score sheet for Broadford. Ahern, is he going to add another or not? He's going to snatch at it, and it's a first wide of the second half, I believe, for Drom.
Absolutely right, Tom, and it's the last thing that Broadford wanted at this stage, because they need to start making inroads. Everything needs to go on. We're going into the last quarter. We're over the 45-minute mark. So, look, very, very shortly, like, the clock is going to be Dromcollogher Broadford's enemy. Oh, that's a very, very good catch by Michal Brosnan.
Ahern. Ahern, you're going to feel there's going to be a goal here. Ahern, a couple of solos. Ahern into the back of the net. Brian Ahern cuts straight through the Mungret defence. And he cuts the gap with a great goal. Oh, brilliant left-footed finish.
And in fairness, Tom, this is what this game really needed. But it was a great catch in the first place by Michal Brosnan, who fed it through to Brian Ahern, and an absolutely pile driver into the Mungret St. Paul's net. Game back on.
Game back on. Now Mungret's kick out is under pressure. Brosnan wins it again, sends it into Molyneux. Molyneux looks for options, sends it across. Oh, a good cover there by John Hutton, doing what a captain will do when they're under pressure. Goes back and wins the ball. Back to the goalkeeper, Foley. He sends it out to Moss, and Moss does well to kick across to Frank Corcoran. Corcoran has been very good defensively this afternoon. Slips there, and Drom now force another turnover. Ball sent inside. It's in there. That's a chance for Kevin Noonan. Noonan, great save. Noonan went for the goal, and that would have ignited this game further. But Noonan is denied by Jake Foley, who rushed out and forced the save. But Drom pushing up on everything, forcing mistakes, as we thought they should have been doing a long time ago. You feel now a point or two would put more impetus into their attack. Ball switched across to Oisin Moss. Coughed up possession a minute ago, so he'll be conscious to just keep a hold of it. Moss goes back to Hegarty. And Hegarty, one of a handful of players who, for Mungret, were playing in that junior final last week. So he's another busy man. And now Mungret just get their composure again. Pa Ranhan and indeed manager Kevin O'Hagan will just hope that they'll have enough composure to just ride out this bit of a Dromcollogher storm, as there's a foul in there by Brian Ahern. But it was another chance of a goal there, Matt. It was a real opportunity to cut it back to 2 points, which would have been
absolutely, and it would be game on then, and a real test of Mungret. So it'll be interesting to see what Mungret's approach will be, because like in the early stages of the second half, they seem to be content with containment and hitting Drom Broadford on the break. But as you rightly said a while ago, Tom, there is only one option for Drom Broadford at this stage, and that is to go for it.
Yeah, do you feel like they have flicked that switch now, and it's caution to the wind time, as Hutton is going to go long in search of one of his forwards, and that is Brendan Giltinan. Breaks nicely for Giltinan, and sensibly bends his back, slips. Oh, he's under great pressure there as Seamus Brosnan bends his back now. He has to come back with a hand pass. Here's Killian Fahy, spoons it up and across to Brian Noonan. They come across to the left wing, playing a long way now from the 15 Burtis. Kenny Lynch gives it in to Sean O'Sullivan. Lynch, Killian Fahy, they need to move it with purpose. The pass isn't the best though, and Michael Ryan has to go back for it. Jack Pearce got that score to start the second half, but they were rocked in by a concession of 1-2 without reply. And Drom again allowing Mungret to go back, and here it is through Kenny Lynch. Lynch kicks it in, and it's gone straight to covering defender. And here now is Dermot Hines. Hines gets into a bit of trouble, but does well to pick his back, or bend his back and pick the ball. Liam Harrington gives it out to the right wing. Feel like Mungret, a score would really settle them and put them firmly in control. Ball sent it to Shane Barry. He's going to win the race. Is he going to gather it? He is. Gives it to Giltinan. What can he do from here? Puts the brakes on Giltinan. He's going to hand pass the point. He is. Brendan Giltinan opened the scoring in this contest. Now he's doubled his tally, and Mungret just needed that to recompose themselves.
They did, to recompose themselves. That's a very crucial point, because we're heading towards the last 10 minutes, and I think we have another sub from Mungret. But it's 6 points now. It's at the long way back now for Drom Broadford, and especially when that second goal chance, and it was a clear-cut goal chance, when that went to begging, it afforded Mungret the opportunity to recompose with the cushion of 5 points. So now it's 6, and
the sub, just to bring up the speed there, you'll see number 23 run across your screen there, Kieran Dean. He comes in place of wing forward James Killian. So turned over here by Mungret. Chance for Moss. So sends it inside to Shane Barry. Barry bearing down a goal. Shane Barry. Oh, what a save! Brian Stack read it every inch of the way, and he tips it around the post for a 45. Well, that would have been curtains.
Fantastic save, absolutely fantastic save by Brian Stack, because the goal was at Shane Barry's mercy, and certainly had that gone through, it was game, set and match.
So the result of all that is a 45, as Hutton lines it up. 3 frees to his name so far. Can he add a 45? He looked to go short there, but I think he'll take this. No, in fact, he sends it out to one of the recently introduced subs. That is Hines. And they're going to probably try and play a kick ball here for the next couple of minutes. Chance here now for Brian Barry. Comes across to Lloyd. Tom Lloyd goes through a couple of challenges, and I think the referee says it was a double hop. Well, it's certainly not a day to hop at once, Matt, and it's definitely not a day to hop at twice.
Definitely, if you get away with once, like, you're really testing your luck if you try it a second time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that he even hopped it once, but the net result, a free for Drom, and they look to go out the back door and over to the left channel. Carried up through Michael Ryan. Sends across here. There's going to be time maybe for a kick pass. Jack Pearce does well. Gives it inside. Here is O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan looks up. Does he have anyone running off him? Does he have anyone close to the goal he could feed it to? They're all slipping and sliding. Back to Jack Ryan. And here's O'Sullivan. Does well though. Gives it back to Jack Ryan. Ryan towards the end line. Has to come back to Pearce. Mungret doing well. Oh, they do very well. Oh, lovely though for Brosnan. Brosnan, yeah, he likes it. It's good. It's Micheál Brosnan. Jack Pearce sent him a bit of a hospital pass, but he tied it up well, and he just cuts the gap further, back to 5.
Good, a very, very good score there by Micheál Brosnan, when you consider he was also involved in the goal there a while ago. So it brings it back to 5 points, but you know, the clock is rapidly becoming Drum's enemy, because we've just over 7 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, just thereabouts, plus a bit of action as Brian Barry ends up on the deck. He's hurt there. As they go back to goalkeeper Jake Foley. He's getting a bit of treatment beneath us here is Brian Barry. Oisin Moss carries it out the far side. Possession 9/10 the law, you feel now, for Mungret. They can hold on to it for a couple of minutes. They will kill any chance Mungret have. You can see there the mud all over Robert Hegarty. There is puddles and pools on this pitch, and it has made at times for difficult handling and indeed carrying of the ball. Ball back to Hutton. He's definitely vacated that 11 spot for a good while now. There's no pressure on him here, so he can even take a misstep of a solo, and he gives it to Giltanan. 2 points to his name. Giltanan carrying inside the 45. Shimmies and then hands it into the runner, and again it's just coughed up. Giltanan goes searching for it, picked up there by Ryan, or in fact it was Brian Noonan, and here's Pearce. Pearce sends it in towards the middle. They have to go quick and they have to go accurate, and it's Ryan gives it across to O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan, what options does he have? He has Brosnan. Pearce is off his shoulder. Jack Pearce gives it in. They need another score here. Here is Brian Ahern. Brian Ahern is running out of room. Ahern, 3-4 Mungret fellas chase him. Ahern spills it again with the solo. Ball coughed up. Oh, there's a big hit in there. Comes all the way back out to Brosnan. Brosnan ferries it off one more. Oh, there's a dub there. He threw it up and caught it. Kevin Noonan juggled with it. He flirted with the dummy, and again maybe just got his wires crossed. Juggled the ball, and Timmy McGrath on the spot to spot it.
And I think he actually put it over the bar, actually, when he got his kick away, but Timmy McGrath was right beside it, so no points for Kevin Noonan on this one.
Yeah, you feel they're going to have to get a goal soon, or maybe just cut it back to 3 and see can they scare Mungret into maybe just sitting off and sitting deep and conceding the territory. But no sign of this youthful looking Mungret team of doing that since. There's a foul there on the man who ended up in the deck, Kieran Dean. The most recent.
It's very foolish giving away fouls at this stage, because it's giving Mungret time to slow it down, wind down the clock, and that's all they want to do. They have to wind it down for the next 4.5 minutes, and they're county champions.
Yeah. Well, they were caught last week. Well, they go all the way back to the goalkeeper. They were caught last week at the very last by Fianna Kilmeedy in the junior hurling final. But their margin a little bit more favourable this time around. Still time for that to change, but holding possession.
That cameo we saw the key to Drom Broadford's real troubles. He was able to put the ball back to his goalkeeper from 45 metres. They were able to play it around with nobody putting a hand on him.
Here's Hutton. Will he be collecting that piece of silverware in the next 10 to 15 minutes? Now, in fact, Hutton is out here. He has it now, and he gives it across to Brian Barry. Barry has carried well all afternoon. Look at the power in the run, in the legs still. Nearly 60 minutes into this contest. Brian Barry carries it through, sends it inside to the runner. That's Liam Harrington. Harrington sends it in. Oh, good little block by Brian Noonan. And now they need to go the length of the field and get something, get a score, get the crowd behind them, and see can Mungret play on their terms. Ball with O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan carries through the middle. No one in front of him, no one making a dart. Jack Pearce has to come around on the loop. Here's Killian Fahy. He's going to kick inside. There's a chance of a mark here. They all slip and they all slide, and the ball goes back. And John Hutton now playing very much like a sweeper.
Yeah, he's been that for the last 15-20 minutes, and he has been doing it very, very effectively. And here they are again, building from the back, playing it around the back.
Drum needs to push up man for man here, Matt. The
absolutely,
clock is racing
winding
away
down
from
the
them.
clock.
Yeah.
Look, there's loose players everywhere. Look, back to John Hutton.
Everybody likes with it.
Back to his goalkeeper.
Matt can predict the future here. Back to the goalkeeper, Jake Foley.
Now we've Darragh O'Hagan looking for a slice of the action.
Yeah, very, very easy. Not even training ground stuff, because there would probably be a bit more intensity with training ground stuff as Hutton gets on it. Mungret just want to get over the line. They don't care whether it's by 5.
Drom Broadford are trailing, and Mungret have been afforded the opportunity to bring their goalkeeper into back passing around in front of the goal 3 times
in recent minutes. Yeah, here is Tom Lloyd, sends it over his right shoulder or kind of across his body to Hegarty. Hegarty sensibly gives it to Frank Corcoran. I've been very impressed by Corcoran. He's going to carry inside the 20. Corcoran as well gives it to Giltinan. He has room. Giltinan to kick another. Oh, it's just gone to the left and beaten everyone and gone wide. So Drom need to put a bit of urgency in it. We've had a lot of subs in the second half. We have another one now beneath us, as Owen Ryan, wearing 20, is coming in for Mungret. Just see who makes way. And again, this just stifles any hope of quick play for Mungret. The number 20 trots in. He's a really, really powerful man. He replaces Giltinan, who ends the afternoon with a couple of points to his name. He got the first and he's got their latest. So Brendan Giltinan makes way in the 59th minute.
And certainly has played his part. A great servant to Mungret St. Paul's, Brendan Giltinan.
Yeah, absolutely. And many of you will recall his sisters, of course, tagging out with the Limerick Ladies footballers for so many years. And indeed his brothers that also played with the club. Very, very good servants to their native club. Oh, it's sent out here. Going to be intercepted. Dermot Hines. Mungret are looking for a free. Mungret are getting a free. And there's the fist pumps from Dermot Hines.
I think what Timmy McGrath did there, he gave the advantage because there was a tug in the first place.
Brings it back for a free. And I think a couple of the neutrals starting to make their way out there behind the goal. They've seen enough. They think it's Mungret's time, and Mungret heading towards the senior ranks to replace Clahan, who were relegated about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And Hutton, from a very challenging angle, I wouldn't back against him. Hutton going through his routine, looking high at those posts. Nice little effort from him, but where's it going? It is just not gone enough. It's gone to the left and wide, but it looks like it's Mungret's day. We're at the discretion now of the Ula man in the middle. That's Timmy McGrath.
And there were not too many stoppages in the second half, so
yeah, just more so for the subs. We did have one injury, I think, to was it Tommy Ryan?
Probably 2 to 3 minutes the most.
Yeah, I'd imagine we're about that, and it's going to take something monumental for Drumcolor Broadford to level or indeed win this contest. Ball by Killian Fahy back there, out to the left-hand channel. Mungret subs have stood out of the dugout. They're ready to invade this pitch. Will it be 2 or 3 minutes time that they are celebrating? It's Brosnan. They need to kick something here. Need to work it inside. Oh, it's inside to Ahern. He's looked dangerous all afternoon. Mungret with all the numbers chasing back here. Oh, and well read there. Referee says there's just a fair clash and Mungret can carry it away. Oh, it's just sent straight up the middle. Oh, it's going to be contested there. And there's a foul there by Shane Barry. He caught the ball wonderfully.
Absolutely.
And you can see Kevin O'Hagan beneath us. He turned to the Mungret crowd, gave the 2 fists in a celebratory mood. I think he knows they're almost there. And so many years of hurt at this grade, Matt, look like they're about to come to an end.
It looks like that. As I said, they have been nearly men now. It's Brian Noonan, I think, has incurred the wrath of the referee, and I think he's been showed a yellow card. I've a sense it might be for verbals.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the nicest of fouls, if I can put it that way. They ended up landing on Shane Barry. Even frustration, I'm sure, as much as anything from him. Hutton sends it in towards Shane Barry. He's been a fantastic foil all after, fantastic target for them, and he gives it to Hines, and Hines is just going to play keep ball here in the corner. Hines gives it back to Shane Barry. Barry has gone for the return and it comes back to Hines, and he's showing great maturity for a young man, not going for to get his name in the paper with a score or two. He's just decided possession will get us over the line here. O'Hagan, though, he wants to score. Sends it inside. Oh, well taken there. Oh, straight at the
What a
goalkeeper
save.
from Shane Barry.
What
Another
a
good save from Brian Stack. They need something to go at the other end. Here is corner forward Kenny Lynch. Gives it across to Micheál Brosnan. Brosnan has to come back for it. Sends it across here. They need to go direct and they need to go now. Here is Sean O'Sullivan inside the 45. You can see the mudbat that lies in wait for him. Sends it into Brian Ahern. Ahern, oh, lovely jink from Ahern. Oh, lovely little solo. And Ahern ends up in the deck. Mungret have the ball. Their subs are all looking for the referee to blow this one up. What have we played? 3 additional minutes. They're all scrambling for possession. Here is the captain, John Hutton. They can carry it up through the middle. It's corner back. Liam Harrington. Harrington with no real targets. Kicks it inside. I say no real target, but here comes Shane Barry. Not going to get there though. Brian Noonan gets there. Mungret supporters are really, really anxious for that whistle. They feel like they're there. 5 to the good. Brosnan hasn't thrown in the towel just yet. Brosnan carries through the middle. They're going to have to get something out of this attack. There's a high challenge there by Brian Barry. And ball needs
it's
ball
now
just
or
needs
never
to,
in around the house, Tom.
in
It
around
has
the
to be.
house. Sent in by Jack Pearce. 2, 3 drum colour men go up for it. Munger come up with it. Timmy McGrath looks at the watch. He's allowing play to continue. Jack McCarthy sends it across. Mungret have been very, very composed for a team that has not been used to winning at this grade. They have looked very, very composed at times this afternoon.
Very composed for a young side, Tom.
Yeah, they have played with an air of confidence that would suggest that senior football will be welcomed to them. Sends it across to Oisín Moss, second half substitute. And again, the young players are just deciding we do not need to improve on a goal in 8. It will be enough. Ball with Jack McCarthy. Again, McGrath looks at his whistle. And again, it's an infringement by Dromcollogher Broadford. He's looked at I say he looks at his whistle. He looked at the watch, of course. There is the full-time whistle. And Mungret St. Paul's are back to senior football. A goal in 8 to Dromcollogher Broadford's a goal in 3. County champions, deserving winners on the day, Matt. And you can just see and hear the relief for everyone associated with Mungret.
No doubt whatsoever at all, Tom. Absolutely a fantastic performance by Mungret. Fantastic week for Mungret. Junior A hurling champions last Sunday. Intermediate football champions today. Potential to be Junior A football champions tomorrow. You know, what a week for what a club, you know, for Mungret St. Paul's. And what we saw out there, and you mentioned it there towards the end of the commentary, that you know, the young players that were out there and the way they have transitioned these young players from successful underage players up to being adult. We saw it out there today with a couple of the old heads in among them, but absolutely fantastic. And Mungret St. Paul's are going back up senior. And Tom, they're not going to be lost there. They're not going to be the whipping boys for anybody. They're going to be an addition to the Limerick Senior Football Championship in 2024. Welcome to senior football, Mungret St. Paul's. Congratulations on a great win today. Commiserations to Drom Broadford. It's very, very hard to lose 2 finals in a row. And, you know, they're absolutely itching to get back to senior level to prove what they have done in the past. But unfortunately for Drom Broadford today, it wasn't their day, no question about it. They were second best, and you know, they have to go again next year. But there is potential. A lot of young players there in Drom with some of the wise old heads. But today belongs to Mungret, and we just cannot detract from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I echo those sentiments. Commiserations to Drom Broadford, a fantastic club who have done well after suffering that relegation to be in amongst the knockout rounds in the last couple of seasons, and indeed in the finals in each of the last 2. But it is the City men who have outdone them again. It's Mungret St. Paul's by a scoreline of 1-8 to 1-3. They'll collect a piece of silverware in a minute, and as Matt said, they will make a stamp, I'm sure, next season on the Senior Football Championship. Well, we will keep the stream live, but we're just going to kill our own microphones here. We're going to migrate down and join in the presentation. Thank you very much for joining us on this StreamSport.ie production of this game. Of course, a reminder tomorrow of the Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship final will be streamed. That, of course, between Adair and 3 in a row chasing Newcastle West. Do join in for that one. But as for now, we'll just keep the camera on and let anyone supporting Mungret enjoy in this one. We're going to go down and see what it's all about.